Today, we're going to talk about paramount steps to help you create your own luck personally and professionally. I will add a few details of how I came to research this topic and how it helped me push through to success. And I hope the same for you. One of my favorite quotes is this: luck is where preparation meets opportunity, or where opportunity meets preparation. Are you prepared? Or have you been waiting for the winds to blow on your face? Are you out there creating the force to make the winds come towards you? Think about it. When you are prepared, educated, and practiced, it does show up. If I can ask everybody to please mute your video. Thank you. First and foremost, we must have an open mind. Lady Luck shines on those that have put themselves in the right situations, opportunities, and to accomplish their goals. Luck is created by our thoughts and behavior, according to Richard Wiseman, a professor of psychology at the University of Hertford in England, who actually studied the subject for over 10 years and ultimately wrote the book Luck Factor. I highly suggest it if you want more information on this topic. Optimistic people are open to change or looking at things from a different lens. Changing your perspective. Optimism is key. We all know those who every time you see them or talk to them are complaining about everything. Confident people naturally create their own luck. Studies have proven that more than 80% of people who feel lucky work harder at creating their own luck. How is that so? It's because your mind is a powerful tool. Watch what you feed it. Always be open to the opportunities. Being social will help improve the odds of this. Making connections, building new relationships all fall into this category. Also, being open to a different way of thinking about something, or a big life, or even a big career. Remember, one of the fastest and best ways to garner more luck is to put yourself out there and meet more people. Because people bring connections, and connections bring opportunity. Not an extrovert? That's okay as well. You can create connections in intended ways. Be mindful of what connections you are making. Be diligent, and remember to be bolder than you ever have before. You are trying to propel yourself to do something out of your comfort zone. What is your fear? Is it holding you back? And how can you overcome it? And fear, what is the point? Let's let it go. Consistently be working on your fearful zone. After a while, what will you notice? I remember always having butterflies each and every single time I had to talk in front of a crowd. When you use those butterflies in those moments, what will they bring you? You will begin to seek out the butterfly moments. Acceptance comes when you learn to get the butterflies to fly in formation. Your mind calms and your body starts to accept the nerves. Know who you are. Acceptance of self, deliverance, and working in the weak spots all lead to thriving in your flow. Your flow. Your mindset. What you feed your brain transpires. Watch the people you keep at your home and your office. You are like the 5 top people that you hang out with. Think about that. Who are those people? Are they complainers? Are they naggers? Are they positive? Do they always not know how to handle situations? And then also think about, what habits do you want? What do you have to change within yourself in order to achieve and start those new habits? Finding the right attitude of support around you, because remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Your mind can modify your behavior for success. Seeing each detail in high resolution is critical. Are you unhappy with who you are? Can you change that? Yes, I believe so. What does the final product of you look like? What are your strengths? Use them, flaunt them. What are your flaws? Do you need to tweak them? Do you need more education? Do you need to sit into some self-help classes? Self-improvement in certain areas? What is it that you actually need? Because each step towards your future and towards your future self matters. Why? Because you're building your future, the future you deserve and desire. Each change, modified behavior, or lesson learned is another step towards your success. Help others and find out how lucky you truly are. We all know this, but do we practice it? I know as much that if I'm feeling down about something, I step up and help someone, no matter how small or large the task. Assisting them reminds me that I need to be grateful for what I currently have and the power to harness my future. But remember, doing things with expectation rarely gets you there. What goes around comes around. Help another because you want to. I promise you, there'll be a silver lining in there for yourself. Randomness. Yes, let it happen. New opportunities bring forth new insights. Seeing things from a different perspective or meeting a new person. When you put yourself out there, we welcome chance into our life. Chance. Now that's a powerful word. What would happen by chance today? A new relationship, a new position, a new client? The possibilities are endless if you are open to them. And listen to your intuition. Listen to that inner voice. How many times do you push it away? Listening to someone else that might be standing in front of you. Next time there's a big decision to make, stop. Find a quiet spot. Clear your mind. Find the rhythmic breathing and dwell in that decision. Your voice will guide you if you will listen. What happens if your voice and self-talk is not so nice? And we'll talk about that a little later. But it's there, just listen to it. And most importantly, be present. Move on from yesterday. Don't think about tomorrow. Just be still and be present. Being in the now not only activates your senses, it makes you deep in tune with what is actually happening around you, the details that you might have missed. Luck happens in a moment. If your brain is too busy processing other things, you will miss that opportunity. And think about that. Missed opportunities is not what we want. Don't let this happen to you. Expect your good fortune. Yes, I said it, expect it. Be open to it, be mindful of it, visualize it. All of those things are super important in creating it. Aim high and see where you might land. Did you hit the clouds or did you land amongst the stars? It's not such a bad spot, right? Or did you fall to the ground and hit the hard concrete? Think about it. Did you not expect enough? Accept your setbacks. They will happen. We know this. We just need to protect how we will react. How do you currently react to it? Does it devastate you? Or were you not quite expecting it to happen at this moment? How about turning that disappointment and learning from it? Yes, learn. What could you have done different? Did you miss a detail? Had you not researched enough? Did you not bring the right people together for the task? What was it? It's a learning lesson to make it better. Tweak it and try it at a different angle, or scratch it all together. Either way, it's okay. There is no finish line. Being your best has no end. I mean, right? I mean, we should never stop moving and improving ourselves, trying to be the best we could ever be. This is a life lesson to be harnessed, exercised, and implemented. If something isn't working, analyze it and recreate it. But don't give up on yourself. So those are the lessons, amongst a few others that I've added in, about how to create your own luck. And I thought I would go over a few things that I've learned in my 33 years in real estate. And I'll promise you, they aren't all about business. One thing I know I needed to do was I needed to change my perspective. I needed to modify my behavior for success. And I realized it was 21 days to create a habit. So what did I need to change? What did I need to implement? What wasn't working for me that I needed to ditch? And what did I need in order to be successful? I also needed to realize what was going to happen if I decided I wanted to quit, or those days that I fell down, or that I fell short on what I was trying to create. It was imperative that I changed my attitude and that I watched the attitude of the people around me. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. And what was I going to do if I fell back into my old habits? Was I just going to allow this one little thing to come back, or was I going to stop it immediately and switch it around in your brain? And how do you dig yourself out? Because there's probably a lot of things that each of us have that we do well with, but there might be some other things that we're struggling in. And you need to analyze them. Are they important things? Are they things that you need to work on? Or do you just need to stop obsessing about them and just leave them be and just focus on what you are, your strengths, and what you do well? Maybe those need to be amped up a little bit so you're not focusing so much on the things that you feel that you're falling short on. And after a while, I realized that my strengths were so much better than my weaknesses that I just needed to surround myself with people that could fill in the spots of what my weaknesses are, that I would always need to go to somebody in order to help me with whatever that weakness was that I did have. And then I needed to be able to fill the highlights and the strengths that came to me naturally, which allowed me to work in my flow. But the first thing was changing my mindset and realizing the things that were not getting me where I wanted to be and changing those things in order to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Think about it. Where are you in your mindset? I started out in real estate very, very young. So overcoming obstacles to be the person that I desired to be. I wasn't sure what that was. I picked someone to emulate, and I picked Christina, who was a top agent in my market. And Christina was about 10 years older than me, and she was outspoken, and everybody liked her. And I spent at some different lunches, actually in a women's council luncheon, I spent some time with her, chatting with her about her business, about how she handled things. And what I decided to do, and Christina still doesn't know this, is I emulated her. I picked what where her goals were as far as what I knew she was producing, because within my franchise, they will show everybody's numbers of their production. I made those my goals. I figured out how could I switch up my business a little bit to push it a little harder, to be able to close more deals. And what did I start with? Along the way, I realized I didn't no longer need Christina. I was my own person, but I needed a starting point because I did not know where to start or what I wanted it to be. So picking someone that you might emulate might be the best way to get something started. And look at their success and just use it as an example of where you want your business to be. But I will caution you this: be careful in who you choose as a mentor or someone to emulate. Be super, super careful that the choices that you are making are the right choices. Keeping your ego in check. This also works with helping others, also helps my personal growth. And the lesson in here is your ego can destroy you and those around you. I had a boss at a very young age that his ego was, larger than the world. It was incredible how big of an ego this man had. And he was highly intelligent and highly skilled and gifted at what he did, which was selling real estate. And I think the first thing that I actually noticed about him was that his ego actually got in the way of him being productive and him actually having personal satisfaction. And the problem with that was that he was not keeping it in check, and he was missing out on so many things around him because he couldn't get past his own brain. And it was actually devastating to see, and what actually happened to him later on in life. And I know it was strictly related to his ego. So at all points in time, you need to make sure that your ego isn't checked. And also, helping others helps you with that personal growth, if you feel that that's something that you need. I'm not talking about confidence. There's something different between confidence and just being an egomaniac, and I think most of you guys will be aware of that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with confidence and what your skill set is, but also be mindful that there's a room full of other people around you that have different skill sets. So everybody is to be celebrated to a certain extent. Dreams. For me, it was really important. I needed them. I needed to fuel them. I needed to plan them. I needed to work on them. And I needed to also be not so rigid to allow randomness to happen. When you think about something that happens to you and you might be like, well, hold on, I wasn't expecting that. Look at it from a different standpoint of, okay, that's a nice plus. Thank you very much, universe, for handing that to me. So that was another thing that was super important in keeping those being fueled, and as far as moving forward on them. I still do this today. Recheck them, revisit them. I actually have a bucket list that I work on just specifically for these things. So this was something that was hugely important in helping me in creating my luck. Do you talk bad about to yourself? Do you have that little nagging voice in your head that says, oh, you're not skilled enough to do that, you shouldn't be the president of this, you should not be speaking in someone? And if you do, I'm going to remind you that you are. That voice is a liar. That voice is not true, and most importantly, that voice is not your friend, because you would definitely not speak to a friend about that at all. One thing that I did that was super powerful was actually one of my coaches that reminded me that I needed to be mindful of who I was and where I was planning on going. Is I put a photo of my younger self, that's me, on my desk. And any time that I thought, oh, you can't do that, Sheila, I would immediately look at that photo. Because if that child came up to you, and whether you knew that child or didn't, and that child said, you know what, I want to be president of the United States, or I want to be a ballerina, you would never say, oh, well, you're not going to have enough education to be president of the United States, or you can't dance worth a lick, so why would you be a ballerina? You would never say that to her. What you would say is, of course you can be. Let's see what else we need to do. Do we need to get you enrolled in a class to do that, to learn ballet? Or do we need to make sure that, you know, you're getting your school studies done so you can be that president? This is probably one of the most powerful things that this coach taught me, was to stop nagging myself, because I mostly back then dwelled in the things that I was weak in, which meant I put more emphasis on them, and to shuck those aside. I can always feel someone to do my accounting or to fix my hair or things of that nature. I'm certainly not talented in those areas, but what am I talented in, and how am I going to make those things be positive in my life and focus on that? And not only that, but if I have this natural flow and these natural gifts, how easy it is to share them with other people, because I might be the weak spot in someone else's life. And I certainly want to be that. But this one thing helped me stop talking to myself that way, because I know I would never be disrespectful to that young girl. And I would only want to encourage her and prop her up and give her a giant hug and say, you've got this. Go out there. The world is your oyster. Make it what you want. So little tip for that. Be mindful of your circles, because what you feed your brain transpires. I got involved in women's councils. I have a group called Success Partners. We still meet 15 years later. We're all varying ages. backgrounds. We're all over Texas. We meet 2 times a year. We have a retreat, and we basically keep each other accountable. Every 6 months we show up and we talk about what did we do that we said we were going to do next time, or what struggles do we have. And it's a safe place for everybody to share and help each other. I also have a deep group of girlfriends. We call ourselves the Sisterhood. We've been friends, some of us, since kindergarten, at varying areas within our life. And there's probably about 12 of us that get together and Zoom now, but also just help each other be better people. I consistently look at the quotes, of course, the great quote, and then I use yoga to calm my mind, to be in that moment, to reanalyze what do I need to do and where I need to be. This is also part of, easy self-care. And how to stay on top of your game. Now this gets into our business thing, how you're setting yourself up to win, dealing with clients and issues, or dealing with your own agenda, who you hang out with, who's at your office, staying rested, fueled, grateful, and educated. These are some top things that are going to help you succeed, but you got to be mindful of it. And if any one area is falling, it's just like the circle, the wheel of life. If any one area is falling, you need to start working extra on that little area to bring it back up. You want your wheel to roll nice and smooth down the road of life, instead of being bumping along and carrying luggage and everything else with it. It wants to be a nice, smooth ride. So consistently working on all of the arenas that are super important to you and are part of your goal and are part of your inspiration. Where does it come from? The other thing in business is your database is your gold mine. You must have accurate data. I can tell you that since we've all been locked into our houses, I have reorganized my database for 33 years. I've really dwelled into not only just, okay, who are my people, but what do I know about my people? So it is actually written all down. If they've got gardening skills, or they're into building, or if they're into golfing, things of that nature, I started taking notes on them and just really digging them down. And just like that, I properly categorized them and started implementing a better plan for reaching out. And it's all about remembering the little things, because everybody loves to be remembered. So if I can remember something special about one of my clients, that's going to help strengthen and help build that relationship even more. And of course, always having a call to action on your database. Think about your personal success habits, the basics of goal setting, business planning, and budgeting. Reviewing your planning, your business planning on a quarterly basis. We always do this in my office, because the point is, did I miss something in this quarter that I need to add on to second quarter? Because if you just wait till the end of the year to look back at that business plan, you haven't planned anything and you haven't done any goal setting. You haven't analyzed what you've worked on. And that's what's super important, is analyzing it. Monthly reviews of your closings to date. Use an effective CRM and management, which is where I have my whole database. Your database is your gold bank. Be aware of my top referral sources. And within my CRM, I'm able to know who around the nation sends me top referrals. And there's some agents I've gotten so many referrals from. They are always on my list to make sure that I'm showing gratitude and appreciation to them. And of course, your personal success habit, plan some fun. Do it with your office, do it with your team, whatever is necessary, but make sure you plan it, because otherwise you're going to be a workaholic, and nobody wants that. And teamwork. You don't necessarily need to have a team to buy into this concept. It's the people that you that you trust to work on your team. Your title rep, your loan officer, your home warranty person. All of those people are on your team, whether they are on your team or not. So other ways to build a profitable team. Everyone has a buy-in. So what is there? What are your margin lines? What's your return on investment? Do you need business partners, and why? Especially if you're leveraging strengths that we talked about earlier. Why do you need someone else that works in a different arena? Do not hire people that are just like you, because the weaknesses will fall, and they'll fall big. And just remember, what are their strengths? What seat will they sit in? Who can handle the task? And leveraging everybody's time. That way, more hands make light work, right? And most importantly, be you. Be bold, brass, investigative, helpful, team player. Listen to the criticism to correct, but don't let it get to your heart. Lead with your head and a little with your heart. Know how to tell which one is speaking to you. Lead with grace and passion. Be compassionate and uplifting. Don't be anybody else but the person you want to be in creating your own luck. And one last thing to remember, that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. There's so many times in my life that I have realized that something has come across my path, and I've sat there and thought, okay, am I mentally prepared for this? Am I financially prepared for this? Do I have a team in place in order to do that? And the answer is, I've actually been preparing for this moment. So yes, I will accept the challenge. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's session. Does anybody have any questions for me? Guys are awfully quiet.
Yeah, not a question, but just thanks. I liked it all. It was great.
Thank you, Lamar.
You know I'm not quiet, Sheila,
I
but I love you.
love you too.
And I think you were wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Randall Zamora, one of your favorite agents that was in your brokerage when I first got started in real estate. Wanted to just ask, what challenges did you face? As I know, every successful person, whether you're in real estate or any other industry, what challenges or what ways did you overcome? And I'm going to use failure loosely, but we all face failure in different ways, and we have to pick ourselves back up and rebuild. So what ways did you use to pull yourself out of those trials and tribulations, I guess you can say?
That's a really good question. To me, I guess early on, failure was devastating. I mean, I would take every blow. If I didn't get a client's home closed, it was, the world was going to end. And then I realized that that wasn't the equation. But if something wasn't happening, there was a reason for it. And once I changed that mindset to, okay, I should not be doing this, to there's a reason this happened. Did I not plan well enough? Did I not prepare well enough? Did I not research it well enough? Did I bring the wrong people into the equation? Was there something that I failed to do, or someone else? How could I make sure that didn't happen before? But it was super important that you recognize that this is a lesson. And what is it telling me? And what am I going to use next time when I am faced with some adversity? So now the failures to me now, they're like hiccups in the road. Okay, all right, that didn't work, but that's okay. Let's go over here and try this. But let's take the lesson over there and try it over here. And I think the other thing is you have to dig yourself out from that hole of, I'm a complete failure and I totally messed this up, because that's not true. You have sometimes outside forces that are working against you. Well, let's face it, all the time you do. But what is it that can help you move forward? And so to me, there's always a lesson that I need to learn in order to be able to do better the next time.
Oh, thank you.
So again, back to your mindset. Did you guys find any of the luck tools useful?
Notes were good.
Yeah, because I've always known that these are things that some of the ththings that I had worked on. And I actually created this presentation before I even found the book. But I found the book even that much more helpful, because I always thought what I had known was people would always say to me, well, Sheila, you're so lucky. And I'm like, no, I work my tush off. Like, but it wasn't just luck that I was doing. When I started reading the book, I was like, some of these things I do naturally, and some of them I've worked on in order to get me to that point. Like that little nagging voice in my head, I don't hear her anymore. I practiced so hard to erase her. And when I realized that I would not talk to a friend that way, and I certainly wouldn't have someone talk to me that way. So why was I talking to myself this way? Like, it's almost like insane. And once I realized those certain things, then you can practice on working it. And so now it's not even a mindset. It's not even a thought. It's not even there anymore, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. But I mean, he actually did a study. It took him 10 years to do the study. And it's super powerful just to think about, if you're combining all of these things together, how lucky are you going to be? And then, hopefully you're thinking yourself, I'm living a pretty charmed life here. And why is it, when you start really analyzing it? I think we've got some questions here. No, we've got, okay. Jen says, I love that you have an accountability group. Yes. And this is a pretty good accountability group. Like I said, they come from different areas in Texas. They're all super producing agents. Some of them are independent, some of them are on a team. But I think mostly what it is that we all have the same mindset. We all understand where each other comes from, basically, because we're selling real estate. But they also understand me as an individual, and will say, you're slacking on that, Sheila. You said last time you were going to do that, and you said it the time before. So here we are 2 more times, and you still haven't done it. So what's the problem? And they'll really call me to the carpet. And having a trusted group like that is super powerful, to be like, you know what? Why am I? You know what? Maybe I'm not that interested in it. I keep saying I am, but have I really thought about it? Am I really interested? Obviously not, if I haven't committed to do the work to get it done. So find yourself a group like that. Whatever it is that you need to take yourself. I'm sorry, I'm reading these. Yes. So another thought that I will leave you with is, I want you to start thinking about the times that you've done things, and when that opportunity comes across, you think, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready for it. We hear our buyers and our sellers, well, we're going to sell next year. The buyers are like, well, we're saving, we want so much money on a down payment. When that opportunity comes to you and you can unequivocally say, yes, I'm prepared for this. It was kind of like my brokerage. When it came up, I thought, I've had my broker's license. I think like a broker. I mean, I've always helped in my old brokerages with my broker. I've helped them as far as compliance and things of that nature. So I already had the skill set. So it was a matter of, when it came across my table, of, wait, I've been preparing this for my whole life. I may not have thought I was going to do this now. It might be 10 years earlier than I actually thought, but I'm actually qualified and prepared. And I've done all these stepping stones to get me to this spot. So yes, the answer is yes. I want you to start looking for those things, because remember, being open and having that optimism means opportunity will come to you. And there'll be so many times that you might set your goals and say, well, I'm going to do A, B, and C. Well, it might be, C, B, and A, or C, A, and B. It doesn't matter, as long as you're still realizing and getting towards where you want to be and setting your goals. But also, your goals might change, and they will over time. What's going to be important today is not going to be important 10 years from now. So be flexible in order to change those things. Anybody have anything else for me? Anything I can help you with? Okay. Thank you so much for participating in Women's Council, creating your own luck. I wish each and every one of you a fabulous day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.